Well, hello.
Hello, everybody.
I'm Celeste.
And I'm Morgan.
And we are
Hexen Arcane. And tonight, we are going to put you into the movie, The Sadist.
It's a 1963 film that we think you'll really enjoy. So, we also have a surprise excursion for these lovely people.
We absolutely do.
So please stay tuned, enjoy this movie, and we'll see you soon.
I will hurt them. I will make them suffer like I have suffered.
The words of a sadist, one of the most disruptive elements in human society. To have complete mastery over another, to make him a helpless object, to humiliate him, to enslave, to inflict moral insanity on the innocent. That is his objective, his twisted pleasure.
Strange-looking place.
What I thought. Fuel pump.
How long you think it'll take you to fix?
It has to be replaced. Take about a half an hour if they have the part. You should have one with all these wrecks around here. This back highway's good for time, but have car trouble and you got problems.
If it had to happen, I'm glad it happened where it did. And when it did, I didn't much relish the idea of being stuck in those mountains.
They were lucky. Another few miles, we'd have been in desert.
Is it what you thought, Mr. Stiles?
I'm afraid so.
Can we still make the game?
Well, we've got 40 miles to go. 12:01. Game doesn't start till 1:30. We can still make it if they have the part.
And if they don't?
It's plain stuck. If it wasn't Sunday, they could order one from Lancaster. We're the people that run this place. Hello?
You see when the player swats the ball.
Not swats the ball, Doris. Bats. The player bats the ball.
When the player bats the ball and it goes over the fence.
That's a home run.
I know, but if no one can make him out, why does he have to run around the bases?
Because he has to. That's the rules. He must touch every base. Would you like a Coke?
Oh, thank you.
Somebody could run off with the whole place, and the owner would never know it.
Okay.
Sure, thanks.
From the looks of things, nothing around here worth taking.
It's a wonder they get any business at all. Everything is so dirty and greasy.
All work isn't white-collar work, Miss Page. When I was in the Army, I had my fill of this, repairing tanks. This prim and proper should have known me then.
Doris Page is a sweet girl, Ed. And a good math teacher. A little on the prudish side, perhaps.
Boy, my phys ed class calls him his ice buckets.
Mr. Oliver, I think that is a silly rule. There is no reason why a man should have to run around the bases when they can't get him out.
Isn't that a woman for you? Never seen a baseball game, and already she's changing the rules.
You should go to a ball game with my wife.
For I still think that's a silly rule.
If we're ever going to see any baseball today, where's the guy that runs this place? Hey, what about some service? Hello!
They must be around here someplace. Doesn't seem likely they'd go away and leave everything wide open.
Perhaps they're round and back someplace.
Hey, anybody here? Hello? Hello? If the pump hasn't already been stripped off that Chevy, we might be in business. We got ourselves a fuel pump if it's any good.
Will that work on our car?
Take a few adjustments, but you get us to L.A. I'll bore a few wrenches and we'll soon be out of here.
Mr. Stiles has many talents.
A fine young man. Be a lucky woman that hooks him.
Why, Mr. Oliver, I do believe you're playing Cupid again.
You're only young once, Miss Page.
Why, Mr. Oliver, you sound like an old man.
Well, 52 yesterday.
Well, I'd say you'd had a fine and full life. A nice home, a lovely wife, 2 handsome children.
Carl Jr. graduates from West Point in 2 weeks. Wife and I are going back for the graduation.
This guy really takes care of his tools.
I wonder where these people are.
I'll look around and see if I can find it somebody.
I don't want to shock you, Miss Page, but I'd rather not get my shirt dirty.
Oh, really, Mr. Stiles, I'm not that stuffy.
I don't know. Taught at the same school for over a year, and it's still Miss Page and Mr. Stiles. I do think Ed and Doris would sound a lot better.
From now on, it shall be Ed and Doris.
Just a snake skin they shed this time of year.
I can't stand snakes.
Most people can't. Part of the country's loaded with them. Big ones. I hear they get to be as much as 9 feet long.
Well, I was certainly wrong, wasn't I?
Hello? Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Hello? Doris? Ed? Hello? Hello?
You never know he's the same history teacher from old Lancaster High. He really cuts loose. Today, he'll really be in his glory with his Reds playing.
I know. Edna told me last night that he hadn't seen them play since they left Cincinnati. She said ever since he got the tickets,
There's something going on here that just isn't right. Settings for 4 at the kitchen table, 2 plates eaten from and 2 plates untouched. Pie still warm. Except for a cat, there's not a sign of life. The sooner we get out of here, the better off I'll feel.
Just keep working, mister. Because you're going to fix your car just like you intended.
Young man, you have no right to take our...
Shut up.
What if I don't fix it?
You'll fix it all right, mister. You better not take too long, either.
Supposing I get it fixed, what happens then?
Me and my girl go away. Won't bother you.
How do we know you'll keep your word?
Looks like you're just going to have to take it. Ain't you, mister?
Hello.
Hello. Long time no see.
Yes. We are at a cemetery. Why are we at a cemetery again?
We are at not just any cemetery, we are at the Plainfield, Wisconsin Cemetery.
And if you do not know why we are at Plainfield, we will tell you. It is because one of the most famous people, infamous people of Wisconsin, is buried right here at our feet.
Supposedly, there's a conspiracy that he was moved, but I don't think so.
So who are we talking about, Morgan?
We are talking about Ed Gein.
Yes, Ed Gein was the famous Wisconsin serial killer.
if you could count him as that, he has 2 confirmed murders behind him.
And more suspected, but not confirmed.
He was more of what you would call a grave robber.
Yes, so he would like to dig up women's bodies, take the parts. When he was caught, he was found with skulls that he used as bowls, lampshade made out of human hair, a belt of nipples.
And that started when his mother died. What he did initially in the house was he had sealed off her room, it wasn't touched, and he left it as such. When he was, apprehended, they couldn't believe what they found in that household, but then to go into Augusta's room left untouched was shocking, and there's deep psychological issues there, which I could talk all day about Ed Gein, but basis is his father left when he was young, was drunk. He was born in La Crosse, I believe. Mother moved them up here to get away from the sinfulness of man down in La Crosse.
Yeah, she's reported to be kind of overbearing.
Abusive. Very abusive. Every woman was a loose woman, a woman of the night. Her boys could not touch them. They had to remain pure. There was physical abuse that was later talked about in his psychiatric records and to his nurses at Mendota. He did open up every once in a while about what his mother would do to him and his brother as a boy. I guess I feel uncomfortable sharing that because it's not my story, but
it's been pretty dark stuff.
It's not right. It's not right. And then his mother died, and Ed was isolated from everybody. We will go out to the property, and you'll see how isolated it truly is.
Yes, and he really idolized his mother.
Yes.
And so he preserved her room.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Even though he kept the rest of it sort of fell into disrepair, and he supported himself through odd jobs and babysitting of all things.
He was the babysitter for the town. He was actually the school bus driver for the town, and he was the town handyman. If you had a problem, if you needed carpentry done, you called Ed. If your kids couldn't get to school because of the snow and you couldn't drive them, you called Ed. He came and got them. He drove that bus. He didn't care. And they all say he was excellent with children. They loved him. They talked to him. He was a little eccentric, but
soft-spoken man, and gentle-seeming man.
Mild-mannered, friendly. People liked him.
So, Morgan, why is there no gravestone here?
Okay, what happened with the gravestone? The first one was stolen. The second one is now in the Washura County Jail storage unit because people kept chipping away at it and they wouldn't stop. Taking pieces. It called people here. Somebody attempted to steal it again. And the thing is with Ed Gein, as much as they loved him in this town at the time, once all that came out, it was not only an embarrassment, it was a shock. It's a tight-knit community, it's a small town. He dug up their family members and mutilated them. And he doesn't remember doing this. He didn't know. He was very honest and forthcoming with the police when they brought him in. Guilt-ridden is the best way that I've heard it described. I've heard it described from nurses that have cared for him at Mendota. They're gone now. They passed. Yes. He was very ashamed of what he did, and he couldn't even remember what he did.
And he actually died in 1984, so it's been some time. This happened mostly in the 50s.
Yep.
So it's older history, but the town still remembers, and a lot of people still remember Ed Gein.
And unfortunately, we do get a lot of kids that come up here and they try to hold seances here. They bring their Ouija boards, they drink, they party, they leave things. I try to make it up here as often as I can, and I clean off the gravesite. I do. I don't know how much I've pulled off of it, but it aggravates me. People have put deer hides, animal carcasses, rotten meat on here. I pulled Halloween decorations off one year, and I'm sorry, but it does aggravate me. You don't do that to somebody's plot regardless of who they are. If you can't be nice, leave it alone.
Right. So we're here to explore this graveyard a little bit. Yep. We're hanging out with his brother and his mom and his dad.
Yep. Now his brother, it was speculated that he did kill his brother, but once we get to the property, I'll show you as best as I can where they were when Henry's death occurred. And the official autopsy report came back as smoke inhalation. From my understanding, him and Ed were out there burning down the grass like we do every year. We get the tall grass, you burn it down so you can start, you know, tilling the fields. And they don't know exactly what happened. There was no blunt force trauma to the head like they say. I've seen the coroner's reports.
Right. Tragically, yes.
Tragically, couldn't find, got
Seems
lost.
like an accident.
Lost in the grass. And the grass, it goes taller than me in some spots. I'm not very tall, but that's enough to lose somebody.
That's pretty easy to do.
His brother was asthmatic as well. So that probably did not help things. And when you're way out in the boonies, and it takes you half hour, 45 minutes to get an ambulance there, and that's if you have a telephone.
Right. So he lost his brother and his mother in close proximity to each other.
Yes.
And that seems to have kicked off a lot of
the psychiatric illnesses.
Yes.
He was diagnosed officially with schizophrenia. They said isolation didn't help him. The fact that he wasn't on a structured schedule didn't help. And like I said, isolation, being lonely, left to your own devices, you got nobody. Nobody. It doesn't excuse what he did in any way, shape, or form, but it does make me feel for the guy.
Yes,
Once
definitely.
he was transferred from Wapaka to Mendota, and they got him on medication, they got him on a structured schedule. He was a model patient. He worked in the kitchen. He cut grass. He stayed active. He had a good sense of humor. He would joke with the nurses. He'd hide around the corners, jump out and scare them. He would draw sketches for them. He'd make Christmas cards. And, you know, two of his nurses that I have met personally really got attached to him. And somewhere in my chest of chests, I have the sketches, I have the cards, things like that. And it's really neat and really sad at the same time. So I do have a soft spot for Ed Gein, and I do have a soft spot for this town. I see where it comes from on both ends. There are two of his victims here. The two women that he did murder are buried here.
And we're actually going to go show
over there, and we're going to go show you. So we will bid adieu to the Gein clan here and go that way.
Give me your wallet.
There's not much, but you're welcome to it. Well, we're only school teachers, young man.
You hear that, Judy? We're only school teachers. We don't like school teachers. Do we, Judy?
Teachers think they're so much smarter than everybody else.
You have our money. Isn't that enough? What else do you want?
Just keep working, mister.
Teachers used to call Judy dumb. Make fun of her. Send the whole fool crying.
You're a pretty good sized boy. I wonder how tough you'd be without that gun.
Ooh, you're one of them real big talkers, ain't you, mister? All right, big talker. Hand over your wallet. Come on. Pick it up.
You pick it up.
You a real big man in front of your lady friend. But I'm gonna show her just how big you really are.
Put down that gun and I'll show you how big you are.
I'm giving you 3 seconds, mister, to do what I say. I'm saying you pick up that wallet. 1, 2.
Please do as he says.
You put it on the fender. Or do you want the gun, huh? You want the gun? On the fender. Big man, huh? I guess you got showed how big you really was. Start working.
November of 57, right? Is that where we're rolling that far back, aren't we?
I believe we are, yes.
November of 1957.
November 16th, if I'm right.
I believe so. Ed Gein went to the local hardware store to purchase antifreeze. And he asked to see a rifle, if I remember correctly, in the cabinet. Bernice Warden was on shift that day. Unfortunately. And Bernice Warden did not finish her shift at the local hardware store. Ed Gein had run into somebody in the parking lot saying he was there to buy antifreeze. And they were able to track him down with the receipt for the antifreeze when the police showed up, because her son came in to check on her and noticed that she wasn't there, but there was a trail of blood coming out of the hardware store. And when the police, realized that Ed was the last one in the store, they weren't sure what to think, if they were looking for a missing person, somebody from out of town, or what. So when they got to the property and Ed didn't answer the door right away, so they went to look for him in the garage, and unfortunately these detectives got the shock of their life. Well, I wouldn't say detectives at that point, but the police department.
Yeah.
There was Bernice in the garage. She was strung up and dressed out like a deer.
And that has got to be terrifying, unexpected, and it actually, that scene, I think it inspired certain movie characters. So very, very loosely based on Ed Gein were characters such as Norman Bates in Psycho, Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs.
Yes. And then what a shock it was when because now that they've unfortunately found Bernice in the garage, now it's free reign to go into the house.
And boy, what they found there, which we will talk about.
We'll talk about when we get to the property. I feel disrespectful, I guess, talking about it right here with her here. There was a big to-do with the family of when Ed did die, and they brought him back here from Mendota to bury him over there. He is within eyesight of Bernice, and I can understand the family's plight about that. Unfortunately, what do you do when there's already a family plot right there and it's bought and paid for, and the last living descendant has no say in, okay, put me somewhere else.
Right.
By law, you have to put them in that plot. So obviously this is her family plot as well. We've got other family members here.
Yep.
And very sad situation. And it's a shame. It's a big shame, but it also leads you to wonder, had he not gotten caught, how many other people?
Exactly.
How many other people? Because there was a bartender.
If there were many other people that we just
Right.
don't know about.
Yeah.
Because he confessed to 2.
I'd like to believe that he was honest about that, though. From, I guess, knowing what I know about him, I would think that he was fairly honest. He was very forthcoming about where he would dig the graves up from. It wasn't just this cemetery. There is another one that way that he would go to as well, and dig them up and repurpose them. And
well, we'll
should have just stuck to deer hunting.
Yeah.
I mean,
and we will see you guys soon.
May I get some water? This poor man is being blinded by his own blood. Don't you even have the decency to let me care for this man? What kind of a person are you? Do you enjoy hurting others, seeing them in pain? How can you be so inhuman?
How is he?
He says he's all right, but I know it must hurt. The gash in his cheek isn't too bad, but the cut over his eye, it won't stop bleeding. I'm afraid he might bleed to death.
Now, Doris. It can't be that bad.
Where do you think you're going?
This man needs help, and he's going to get it if you want this car fixed. He's going to be all right, Doris. You're lucky, Carl. A little more to the right, you wouldn't be here. If we can get you some water and in the shade, we can stop the bleeding. What about letting this man get in the shade?
How can you be so cruel?
You get back in that car, he won't be needing nothing.
Oh, by all means, enjoy your lovemaking. But the least you can do is allow a suffering man a little water. Carrying on like that when you're no more than an animal. You get your dirty hands off me.
You leave her alone if you want the car fixed.
And you won't fix it unless you let us get some water.
There's a pump by the house.
You get working in that car, mister. And you. Go ahead.
Shoot if they move, Judy. If I hear a shot, your girlfriend is dead. Don't get no ideas. Judy don't know how to use a gun.
I wonder why he changed his mind. Ed, I don't like this.
I know something else you won't like, Carl. Remember reading last week about those brutal killings in Arizona?
Let me by. Why are you putting us through this torture? You have our money and you're taking our car. Isn't that enough?
You keep your dirty hands off me. You think you're so much better than me. You kind of all think that way. You called me inhuman.
All right, I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. Now, will you let me go?
Call me an animal.
I'm sorry I said those things. Now, can I go?
You're sorry, but you still think it. You think I'm dirt. You think Judy's dirt. You'll always think it till you don't think no more. Your kind means nothing. You hear? Nothing. Why don't you scream? Maybe the big talker will come and help you. Maybe Miss Goody Good still thinks she's so much better than me. How does it feel to be touched by dirt? Huh? Goody Good don't like it. Taste it! Taste it! Eat the dirt. Taste it! Miss Goody don't think she's so much now, does she? She don't mind being touched by dirt. Get moving.
What did he do to you, child?
It's all right, Mr. Oliver. It's all right.
Get back to work.
You want that car fixed? You can do it yourself.
Starting to be the big man again, huh?
You're the big man, Tibbs. That's the name, isn't it? Charlie Tibbs? The big man who killed 7 people? Made them get on their knees and shot them in the head? Paper calls you a thrill killer. It must be a real thrill to wipe out a family of 5. How many thrills have you had since you left Arizona? What about the people here? Did you kill them too?
How long do you think you can keep getting away with this, son? The law's bound to catch up with you sooner or later.
And the law has ways of handling murderers.
Please don't antagonize him anymore.
What's going to happen to you?
If anybody opens their mouth again, I'll blow their brains out. Now listen, big man, you get back to fixing that car, you're going to be a big dead man fast. All of a sudden, everybody's becoming the big talker. Getting kind of brave. Nobody wants to talk no more, Judy.
I'm gonna get my goodie bag. Judy! Give me a soda! Just a little target practice.
So we're showing you guys the footage of what was the hardware store back in 1957.
Yep, this is in Plainfield. Right now it is an empty building, but this was a hardware store.
In November of 1957, this is where Ed Gein obtained his last victim. He had gone in to buy antifreeze and ended up shooting Bernice Warden with a rifle. And the details, as I remember, are a little fuzzy. I can't remember if he had asked to see the gun and he had the bullet on him, or what exactly transpired with those events, but it left a trail of blood. He had told somebody else that he was going to buy antifreeze, and there was a receipt as well, which is what initially led police back to his house.
And he took her body out the back way.
Yep.
All right, thanks you guys.
These two guys were chasing me in the woods. I don't know where they're at.
Shake the bottle up there.
Mr. Oliver, they're going to do something terrible. I just know it.
You. Get up. Over there.
What are you going to do?
Shut up. Move! That's far enough. Down on your knees. On your knees. Seeing as how you like to talk, go ahead and talk. Talk all you want. As soon as I finish this, you're gonna be through talking. School'll be out for you, teacher. Better start talking, mister. Your time's running out.
You can't shoot me like this for no reason. For nothing. Surely blowing my head off can't give you a thrill. Is it money you need? I have close to $2,300 in the bank. Tomorrow you can call my wife. She'll give it to you, all of it. You and your girlfriend can have a lot of fun on $2,300.
He sure is talking a lot different than he did a while ago. Ain't he, Judy?
You have a father, don't you? Would you want someone doing this to him? Think of your own father in my place. Or yours.
Save your breath on her, mister. I'm the only thing in the world she has. Her old man's dead, and her old lady's a drunk.
Young lady, can't you realize this is wrong? You love him, don't you? You know what it is to be around someone you love and who loves you? I have loved ones, too. A daughter a little older than you, a son about his age. Please, I beg of you, talk to your boyfriend.
Tell him this is wrong. Tell him, please. My God, Gerald, haven't you any feelings at all? Can't you understand?
Look at him squirm, Judy. They all alike, ain't they? Yellow when they go.
You just can't wipe out a man's life like this. Not like this.
You just can't stand here and watch.
Ed, you can't let him do this. Maybe he'll listen to you. Talk to him. Ed, talk to him.
Ed, Seymour, do something. Somebody do something. Tell him you won't fix the car. Don't let him do it.
You want the car fixed?
Maybe the big man wants to take your place. If he says one more word, he will. What about it, big man? You feel like talking? Maybe Miss Goodgood wants to take his place. I guess nobody wants to take your place, mister. School's out, teacher.
No, no, please. Ed, the spades.
You monster, you monster!
Doris!
Dirt!
Shut up.
Shut up yourself!
Doris, take control of yourself.
No, you coward!
Doris!
Don't touch me!
Doris, you're gonna get us both shot.
I don't care. Why don't you go ahead and shoot? Go on, shoot. Go on, shoot. I don't care.
In another couple of minutes, I'll have the pump out.
Shut up.
It won't take very long to put it in the other car.
I said shut up.
You're going to need that car now, and I'm the only one that can fix it.
I ain't waiting too long. Judy, go get me a soda. And that pie, too.
Poor Edna. How will anybody be able to tell? His son's graduation.
Doris, believe me, I feel as badly as you. He's dead. Nothing can bring him back. We're alive. We've got to think of ourselves now. Do you think I wanted to stand there and watch him die? What could I do? What could anyone have done? You can't reason with that kid. He wants blood, Doris, and nobody's going to talk him out of it. Don't you understand what we're dealing with? He's a psycho, Doris. Well, should I have taken his place? Would that have made you feel better? What would you be saying to Carl if it was lying over there? Pump's out.
All right, put it near the car.
did, there was nothing we could do. Why don't we just run? The highway is only a few yards from here.
He cut us down before we got 5 feet.
I'll die running before I get on my knees like... I can still see him drinking that. Maybe a car will come by and stop.
Sure, Doris, maybe a car will pull him.
Supposing a car does pull in, they won't know. He'll kill them and us too. The police. Maybe the police will pass by. They do patrol this highway. They will, Ed. They will.
Sure they will.
We must find a way to make them stop, Ed.
Doris, miracles do happen, but you can't count on them.
I'm sorry.
Now listen. I'm going to try to find out how many more shots he has left, or if he has reloaded or not.
But how will we find out?
4 shots we know of. That leaves 4. He probably shot the people here, too. There must have been 2. Remember what Carl told us about the settings in the kitchen?
Yes. 2 plates eaten from, and 2 plates untouched.
Tibbs must have surprised them while they were eating. They were too frightened to eat while those 2 were stuffing themselves. He shot them. That leaves 2 shots. Well, he certainly didn't walk here from Arizona. Maybe he shot someone else. And if he hasn't reloaded...
Go ahead and talk, mister. You talk all you want. You thinking somebody's gonna save you.
Why should I fix a car if you're going to kill us anyhow?
You'll fix it. 'Cause that lets you live a little longer. Like back there. I knew you was stalling. If you don't want to fix a car, you die right now.
You want this car, Tibbs. Who are you fooling? Oh, you can kill us, but you'll be stranded.
That's a road, ain't it? Well, there's a road, there's cars. Somebody will pick us up. They always have.
Is that how you got here from Arizona?
The sailor picked us up.
How far did he take you?
Thought he was a real lover, huh, Judy?
Suppose you shot him, too.
No, I just cut his throat.
Why haven't you still got his car?
Run out of gas last night. You sure asking a lot of questions, mister. But you go ahead and ask all you want.
How did you get here?
A farmer picked us up. His old crate broke down up the road a piece. Too bad. I was beginning to like that old codger.
Shoot him, too?
He sure prayed when he went, Judy. Remember? He reached for the sky and talked to the Lordy Lord.
Then you shot him.
Yeah. Right between the eyes.
What about the 2 people you shot here? Did they pray too?
You must think I'm dumb, mister. Don't know nothing. You're counting bullets. Count all you want. I can count too. You know I only fired 7 shots. Only got 1 bullet left. Unless I reloaded. How many bullets do I have left? Come on, come on. You the big man. Come on. The 1 bullet's gone. Come on, maybe the gun's empty. Come on, miss, I'm giving you a chance. Come on, big man. Come on, mister. Come get the gun. What's the matter? You afraid? You had a chance, mister. You should have taken it. You ain't gonna get no more. See how yellow they are, Judy? They're afraid of an empty gun. Big man. Big talker.
Ready to do something.
You.
I told you they would. They will stop. They will. They will. They're coming after you. They're coming after you. You hear me? You're not going to kill anymore.
Sure. Getting back. Get back or I'll kill you right now. Do what I say. Move! Over there. Lie down. Lie down!
Stop it.
Get up. Hurry up. It must be the police. You get that coke. Get in there and blow your brains out.
Hello, we are here in front of
The Ed Gein property. We made it. We did. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Woohoo. Woohoo.
And I mean, we met some weird people
Yeah,
wandering down the road,
there's been
but we're
some
not worried about that because we made it here. What is it?
Fred's, everybody's cutting wood here, so we'll...
Anyway, this
Yeah.
is a historic place.
It is.
It has a dark history, but an interesting history, as we talked about in the graveyard. There is some very... I keep hearing something.
They're probably cutting trees. They're just... everybody cuts their own trees down here. They gotta get firewood, and it's the prime time to stock up on wood for the year, so.
That's true.
We'll just have to talk louder, which is great.
So Ed Gein's property is back in here. And
when it was purchased, it was 154 acres. Well, after a quick potty break here, we're gonna talk about the furniture.
What about the furniture?
Oh, there were chairs made out of human skin that was tanned. There was lampshades. We also had fashion accessories.
Isn't there some, you know, costumes for dancing under the moonlight?
There should be, but generally you don't wear any clothes when you do that.
Or wear other people's skin.
Or we wear other people's skin too, yes. That's I guess.
That was a thing, yeah.
Apparently, yeah. Woo! Dancing in the dark.
Hi, ladies. Me and Daddy just got done making a new couch, and Daddy's got the lampshade skins made up. Would you like to come see the new models that we have?
Help us reupholster.
I think I have
something to do. One noise and the lady friend dies. Keep her out of sight. She makes one noise. You slit her throat.
Hi. Whoa, son.
Sure a scorcher.
Sure is.
Don't recall having seen you around here before, son.
Friend of the family.
Just talked to Milt's son in town about an hour ago. Funny, being the talker he is, didn't mention anything about visitors.
He just left before I got in.
Lancaster, huh?
Yeah. Been working on the car. Fuel pump trouble.
Mine went out only last week. You know, Jim, it cost over $30 to get it fixed. Boy, what a crook that guy was. Look, somebody lost a 45 clip.
Where's Milt?
Back someplace.
Oh, you can get more parts out of a car than the factory put in it.
Yeah, you sure can.
Get out. I told you to keep quiet. Should have known what I told you. Get moving. told you nobody could help you.
You're gonna have every officer in California looking for you.
They don't scare me. Nobody scares me. I'm gonna give you a choice, big man. You die now, or you fix that car. I'll give you 15 minutes to fix it.
Why should I fix it? You'll only kill us when I get done.
I'm giving you 15 more minutes of life, mister. If you don't want it, I'll blow your head off right now. There is two. It's 1 o'clock. You got until 1:15. You start working.
Who'd ever believe something like this?
How could he shoot two officers? There were two of them. Two of them.
Judy, give me that gun.
"15 minutes. What are we going to do?"
All units. Be on the alert for two Arizona murder suspects believed to be in California. Possibly driving a green 1958 Ford sedan, license number Mary Nora 46983. Suspects hitched a ride with the driver of this car, a sailor, en route to San Diego. The sailor was found murdered 2 miles east of Needles, approximately 10:30 this date. Tibbs, Charles A., male Caucasian, age 20, light brown hair, blue eyes, height 6'1", weight approximately 180 pounds, fair complexion, wearing Levi jacket and pants when last seen. This suspect is armed and to be considered extremely dangerous. In company with suspect number 1 is Bradshaw, Judy, female Caucasian, age 18, black hair, blue eyes, height approximately 5'4", weight approximately 100 pounds, dark complexion, wearing a yellow flowered dress when last seen.
If only that radio call had come 2 minutes earlier.
We've got to do something.
Looks like we'll have to run for it. Wait a minute. Move closer. Get in front of me. I got an idea. It may not work, but at least it's a chance. It obviously doesn't know much about cars. Now look, when I get the pump in, I'll ask you to get in the car and start it. Leave it in neutral. I'll raise the motor from here. When I give you the first signal, I'll scratch my shoulder. When I do, you shift into drive and push down on the brake. Got that?
Yes.
When I give you the second signal, I'll wink. And hold on tight because I'll be pulling the gas pedal to the floorboard. I'm going to try to lure him in front of the car.
Oh, Dad.
It's just a chance. We might not hit him, but if we can at least startle him, it may give me the few seconds I need. Let's just pray this doesn't kick out on us.
What if it does?
Run for it.
What if he won't let me get in the car?
It's a chance we'll just have to take.
You got 11 minutes.
Doris?
Fix the car with you starting it.
This is Dick Woods bringing you music from Dodger Stadium as we do every Sunday preceding the ball game. Talking about baseball, those red-hot Cincinnati Reds are in town, riding a 9-game winning streak. It's going to be Bob Perky going for the Reds and Sandy Koufax for the Dodgers. It should be quite a pitcher's battle. There's still plenty of good seats to be had, so if you're not doing anything, come out to Dodger Stadium and see exciting National League baseball. It's a beautiful day for a ball game. Time is 1:10, still time to come on down. And now, stay tuned for Dodger Warm-Up.
We could just get them away from the car long enough to...
Music. All those people. Laughing and yelling. So happy. Oh, Ed, I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
You're not going to die, Doris.
Okay, we are at the former site of the Ed Gein property. We are standing where the house once stood. Okay, so there's the driveway. The driveway looped around over here. The house stood right back in here about. Still trying to work that out. It was raised in 1958. They don't know who did it. I don't think they really pushed it, to be honest. What had happened after Ed was apprehended, the house went up for auction as he was the last living descendant of his family. The man who bought it, he was going to turn it into a sideshow attraction. No, just no. No, so about a year after the guy bought the property, maybe it wasn't even that long, it burned down! Huh. And I don't think they tried stopping it. And I really can't blame them, but it was a beautiful craftsman farmhouse, which would have been amazing to see. I'm all about my houses. So this is where it stood. Did a little research on the land. This was an Indian settlement at one time. There are Indian burials on the property here. It's 194 acres. Well, it was. Now it's been divided up. So that might have been another reasoning for said actions. We don't know. Combined with mental illness, it's bad juju. And the abuse of his mother. Oh, it's hard, but we're here and we're on the property, and I actually feel pretty okay. Usually when I come up here I get a pretty sketchy feeling about it, but today I feel fine, which is wonderful. It's nice. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of property. You can't deny that. It's beautiful up here in central Wisconsin. And there's really nobody around. Last time I was up here, there was a house really close to here, and I can't see it now. I thought it was closer than the one down the road, but I do know that there are trail cams. What are you gonna do? But I also don't advise people to come up here and party and be disrespectful, because somebody does own the property now. It's no longer property of the county. So as you would anybody's yard, please respect it. Don't come up here, have seances, bring your Ouija boards, try and summon Ed Gein. It's ridiculous. And I think that's all I got for you for right now.
Minutes.
Doris, get in the car and start it so I can see if the pump holds pressure. Doris, get in the car and start it.
Just a minute.
You want the car to run, I want to live those extra few minutes.
Now I have to check the pump for pressure.
All right. But it better run good.
Start it up.
You ain't got much more time. 2 minutes. How does it feel when you're about to die?
Try it now.
I think you yellow belly. Yeah. One of them squirmers.
I said get out! Move. You must think I'm stupid. You're trying something. You did something.
I did nothing.
I was running pretty good a few seconds ago. You must have did something.
Look, this pub has been in a wrecked car for who knows how long. Now, sometimes they get clogged and don't hold the pressure. I should take it out and clean it.
You ain't got time for that.
It's not holding pressure. It needs to be cleaned.
You're looking for time, ain't you?
It won't take very long.
You ain't taking nothing out. You think you're fooling me, don't you? Think I don't know nothing about cars, don't you? That thing right there, that's a carburetor. The car can't run unless there's gas in it. All you gotta do is prime it. Now, I've seen that done, so you prime it. Well, go on, there's a gas pump over there.
Doris, get in the car and start it when I tell you to.
Nobody gets in that car but me.
If I'm going to prime it, somebody has to pump the gas pedal.
Just never you mind. You just put that gas in that carburetor.
I know you're hiding. I'll find you. Find you. I'll kill you. Ah!
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hey, Morgan, who do we have here with us today?
We have John Borowski here with us.
John, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hi, thank you for having me on. And I'm John Borowski. I'm a filmmaker and author, and I produce and direct documentary films based on serial killers and true crime tales, and also release these books such as the Ed Gein File. So definitely people have to check this out because this contains this entire interrogation and confession, as well as some photos from the case and the crime scene photos. So definitely people would want to get their hands on this. And I sell the poster of that as well as Ed Gein as the print. So, you know, my favorite movie was Psycho, and it still is to this day. And Ed Gein, as you know, was the influence for Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and part of Silence of the Lambs. So his story is always fascinating because how often do you come across a human being who made lampshades and chairs out of human skin? I mean, that's like ghoulish.
That sounds like something you would only find in a horror movie.
Exactly. It's like a real life horror film. And that's why I find these early serial killers fascinating, because people like H.H. Holmes, who built a castle of, you know, horrors and tortured people there, and Ed Gein, who dug up graves and would wear women's skin on his body, were extreme cases.
Albert Fish is another one too.
Albert Fish, yeah, you know, he would
Yeah.
kill children. An old man, he looked like an unassuming old man, like this guy behind me, you know, Gacy in Chicago. He had a little house in the suburbs, and, you know, nobody knew that he was killing all these young boys and burying them in his crawl space. So it's that duality of these serial killers that people are fascinated by, and you know, that kind of plays into, you know, the sadist as well.
And when you look at all the things that, like you said, he's inspired, it's like life inspires art, and some great art has come from, unfortunately, serial killers and serial killer lore.
Well, you know, he was artistic. You know, I don't know about a Better Homes and Gardens or Architectural Digest, but you know, he made use with what he had, and you know, I think he'd do great, you know, during type of, you know, lockdown or pandemic.
Yeah, interest for Goss.
I think pretty much everybody up there knows how to dress out a deer, but how far you're going to take that is a whole nother concept.
Exactly. And, you know, and that's the thing. It goes back to the deer hunting. And when you see his last victim trussed up in his barn, right? You know, just like a deer, I mean, just imagine those officers that went into that barn and bumped this shell of a body hanging from the ceiling. I mean, again, you hear these in horror films.
How long was it between the time that she went missing to the point where the detectives did find her? Do we know?
I think it was either that same day. I think he went earlier in the day, and it was either that night or the next day, because all those events, there was still blood in the hardware store where he had shot her and murdered her, put her in his truck and took him back to his house. So that was like late at night. So I believe it's all within the same day. So he had eviscerated her and opened her body up and hung her upside down so, you know, her skin could dry, because his intention was to take her skin and actually wear it like a bodysuit.
And that obviously makes everyone think of Silence of the Lambs.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's where Silence of the Lambs, the Buffalo Bill character, was based on Ed Gein, Gary Heidnik, who would put his victims in a pit in his basement, as well as Ted Bundy, because he would put a cast on his arm or act injured. Oh, could you help me with this? So that Buffalo Bill character in Silence of the Lambs was that amalgamation of those three real characters.
Which I thought was always so cool. That they
You guys had one up there recently to Plainfield.
Yes, we did. We went to the Gein property, didn't we, Celeste?
Yes, we did. It was an interesting time.
Did you go to the cemetery?
We did.
We did. Yep.
So you saw the shell. I offer these on my site. They're prints of Gein's grave rubbing, which is pretty cool. So,
especially since it doesn't exist right now.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You know,
someone had stole it, broken it into pieces, and were selling it online.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I was lucky enough to have an early rubbing that I'm selling as a nice print like that, and you could frame that, you know. Yeah.
That is so stinking neat.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
So,
and you know, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say about you and your books and your films, if people want to find your stuff, where can they do that?
Yeah, the best place is my films are streaming on Amazon Prime, so you could check them out there. My store is the best location to find my books, DVDs. I autograph them as well. It's store.johnborowski.com, just, one word, or my site, johnborowski.com. And I also have a live talk show on Get Vocal Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, called Crimes of Our Times, where you could listen in and I interview guests, and we have special co-hosts on that are involved either with oddities, conventions, serial killers, true crime. It's a little of everything.
Wonderful. And what are your films called if people want to find them?
Yeah, the first is H.H. Holmes, America's First Serial Killer, Albert Fish, In Sin He Found Salvation, Carl Panzram, The Spirit of Hatred and Vengeance, Serial Killer Culture, Bloodlines, about the artist Vincent Castiglia, who paints in human blood. Gacy is my next one, the John Wayne Gacy murders. And I have a TV show also called Serial Killer Culture, the web series on Amazon.
Wow. How do you find time for anything?
It's a lot, I'm still working, it's difficult, but, I just keep trudging forward. As an indie, I just keep, creating books and TV shows. And, whenever I have a chance to interview an expert or somebody involved with a case, I just jump on it. So, and, I always say Chicago is kind of like the true crime hub of the Midwest. We all know that Chicago is the home of corrupt politicians, gangsters, and serial killers. That's, they'll get the history of it. It's a fascinating town. And the Midwest is, has had a lot of killer activity when you talk about Dahmer and Gein and Gacy and H.H. Holmes. It's just all fascinating.
We call it the Wisconsin sickness up here.
That's right. I think it's the winter maybe that causes it. Because, you think of Gein, he lived in this little shack, no electricity, no heating, nothing. And, he walled himself into this one room and slowly went crazy over time after his parents passed away and his brother, he may have murdered him. It's a very fascinating story. But again, if anyone picks up this book, it's an entire interrogation with Gein, which is very fascinating. They initially recorded it on reel-to-reel audio. They lost that. So I was lucky enough to find the transcriptions, and it's Q&A with Gein, all about what he did, why he did it. And it's interesting to hear his thoughts. Like he said, he murdered one of the victims because she had sex outside of marriage. So he had this whole religious complex, a little similar to Albert Fish as well.
That is fascinating. I had a question. Who was your favorite serial killer to communicate with, and why?
I've spoke with several, and actually I'd have to say Dennis Rader, BTK.
Oh, wow.
And BTK seems like this kind old man, which he's old now, but he says he was a good guy that did some bad things. And if you would talk to him now or write him, he's like a grandfather. He asks me about my cat. How's your cat Ella doing? How's Chicago? You would never think of writing a serial killer because he doesn't really talk about his crimes. He'll mention a little something here and there.
Right. That's a case that's stuck with me most out of everything because I followed it, never thought it would be solved. It was a case I kept going back to and reading. And then one day they solved it and I was like, whoa, it just totally threw me off.
Yeah, it was interesting when my first film, H.H. Holmes, was released. The Wichita police, when BTK resurfaced, they had contacted me because they subpoenaed all my records of everyone in Wichita who purchased my DVD of H.H. Holmes because BTK would write the press and mention H.H. Holmes and other killers who he wanted to emulate.
Oh, was he on that list?
No. And then they were going to have a screening to try and lure him out, which then they apprehended him. It was just before they apprehended him. So you remember he resurfaced again and he was sending letters and little clips. Remember that? And then they caught him and it was like, but I was so close to my film catching BTK.
That is a fascinating story. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for having me. This has been great.
Yeah, Morgan, I'm sorry we have to let him go. Do you want to say goodbye?
Me too. I always enjoy my talks with John.
I know. I miss you guys, and we'll see each other again soon. And thank you for having me on. This has been great.
We appreciate it so much. It's always good to see your face, hear your voice, and we'll see you at convention soon, we hope.
Yes, same for you. Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Wind up once more. Ball low, outside. A curveball just missed the outside corner. Fairly took. Ball one, strike one to Fairly. Say, incidentally, there are lots of good seats here for you fans who enjoy the Dodgers and the Red Lakes. If you're close by, won't you come on down? You'll enjoy it here at Dodger Stadium. A gorgeous day, shirt-sleeve crowd, everybody having a wonderful time. Okay, we're set to go. The bases loaded, bottom of the first inning. Ron Fairly up there. Perky, the great pitcher of the Red Lakes, set to go. He faces him. He has his sign. There's the windup. The pitch. Fairly belts it. Oh, what a smash. Frank Robinson is on his bicycle. He's going back. He turns and races toward the wall. Back he goes. Oh, it's a home run.
Well, that was a great movie.
It was. I feel it was kind of ahead of its time, to be honest.
It was, and it was very reminiscent of some of the modern slasher torture films.
Yes.
It was great.
Yes, and I don't know, like, if people really knew what sadism was back in that day. Like, that's a generally new concept to majority of the population.
Right. So I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed talking to John Borowski. Thank you, John.
Yes, thank you, John.
And very much enjoyed going to Plainfield and visiting again.
Yes, I love that man.
So we are going to see you next week.
Yes.
And
we will
hex you soon.